For years, China has been expanding its territorial claims far beyond its borders, seizing islands, building artificial military bases, and blatantly ignoring international law. From the West Philippine Sea to Taiwan, from the South China Sea to disputed areas along India's border, and even to Tibet, no land or water seems off limits to China's relentless ambitions. Despite rulings from international courts, despite protests from smaller nations, and despite the clear violation of territorial sovereignty, China continues to expand. But why? And more importantly, why does the United Nations seem powerless to stop it? Today, we uncover the truth behind China's illegal expansion, the devastating effects on neighboring countries, and the world's failure to hold them accountable. If you want to stay informed about these critical issues, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Let's start with the West Philippine Sea, a part of the South China Sea that belongs to the Philippines under international law. This region is rich in natural resources, teeming with marine life, and holds strategic importance for global trade. But for decades, China has ignored international boundaries, slowly taking over islands that do not belong to them. The most infamous example, Scarborough Shoal, once under Philippine control, but now heavily guarded by Chinese vessels. In 2016, the Permanent Court of Arbitration in The Hague ruled that China has no legal basis to claim the West Philippine Sea. The ruling was final, but China simply rejected it. They continued their construction of artificial islands, turning reefs into military bases equipped with airstrips, missile systems, and radar facilities. China uses its infamous 9-dash line to claim nearly the entire South China Sea, even though it violates the sovereignty of the Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, and Indonesia. So why hasn't anyone stopped them? With clear violations of international law, you'd think the United Nations would step in. After all, their job is to prevent conflicts and protect the sovereignty of nations. But the truth is, the UN is powerless when dealing with China. China is a permanent member of the United Nations Security Council, meaning it has veto power over any resolutions against itself. Even if the UN wanted to impose sanctions or military action, China could simply block it. This means smaller nations like the Philippines and Vietnam have no real international protection. They must rely on their own forces or alliances with stronger nations like the US and Japan. But is the world willing to stand up to China? China's territorial aggression doesn't stop at the sea. On land, they have been increasing tensions with India, claiming territories in the Himalayas that belong to India and Bhutan. In 2020, violent clashes erupted between Indian and Chinese troops in the Galwan Valley, leaving soldiers dead on both sides. And to this day, China continues to build roads and military bases in disputed areas. If China succeeds in these expansions, what stops them from claiming more? Many countries condemn China's actions, but very few are willing to take real action. Why? The answer is simple: money and power. China is the world's second-largest economy, with deep financial ties to almost every country. Many nations rely on Chinese investments, loans, and trade deals, making them hesitant to stand against Beijing. Even in the Philippines, despite clear territorial disputes, politicians have been divided. Some push for a stronger stance, while others avoid confrontation due to China's economic influence. The longer the world ignores China's aggression, the worse it gets. Filipino fishermen have lost their livelihood as Chinese coast guards block them from their own waters. Southeast Asian nations must increase military spending just to protect their own land. The risk of war grows every year as tensions escalate with Taiwan, India, and the Philippines. If China isn't stopped now, what will they take next? Amidst China's territorial aggressions, another form of influence quietly spreads across the globe. Its strategic investments in infrastructure projects. From Africa to South America, China has been pouring billions into building roads, bridges, ports, and railways. These projects are part of China's Belt and Road Initiative, aimed at enhancing trade routes and economic ties. While these investments bring infrastructure to developing countries, they also come with strings attached. Many of these deals involve high-interest loans, leading to debt dependency. Countries unable to repay these loans may find themselves under significant pressure from China. One example is Sri Lanka's Hambantota port. Unable to repay its debt, Sri Lanka leased the port to China for 99 years, giving China a strategic foothold in the Indian Ocean. China's investments are not just about economic gain, they are also about expanding its geopolitical influence. By controlling key infrastructure, China can exert significant leverage over other nations. As China continues to expand its global reach, the world must remain vigilant. It's not just about infrastructure, it's about influence, control, and the balance of power in the 21st century. There's still hope, but only if nations act now. Here's what needs to happen. Stronger alliances. The Philippines, Vietnam, and other affected nations must strengthen military ties with allies like the US, Japan, and Australia. Economic sanctions. The international community must hold China accountable by limiting trade until they respect international law. Public awareness. The more people know about this issue, the more pressure builds on governments to act. China's illegal expansion isn't just about territory. It's about power, control, and the future of international law. If we let this continue, we allow one country to dominate the world without consequences. The question is, will the world stand up before it's too late? Stay informed, share this video, stand for justice, and subscribe to this channel.